ready for Serie A. The season kicks off this weekend. Here's a look at the notable match day one fixtures. Genoa face Inter Milan on Saturday at noon. Parma take on Fiorentina. AC Milan host Torino on Saturday. Bologna versus Udinese on Sunday. And then on Monday, Juventus take on Como. 2:45 p.m. Eastern right here on the Golazo Network. To help us set the stage, it is an absolute pleasure to welcome Christine Cupo to the desk. Good morning, Christine. Hello, hello, hello.
Thank you for having me back. I missed you all so much.
Missed you all very much. It feels like when you look at all of the changes that were made in the offseason, especially on the managerial side. In fact, I want to point this out. Only Atalanta, Genoa, Inter, Lecce, Roma, and Parma did not make a change.
That's 75% of the table's coaches are new for this season.
So what does that tell us about how this season is going to look? Is it going to be as chaotic as I feel like it could be?
I think it's got a higher potential than normally. I don't think in all the years that I've followed nor covered Serie A, I've seen so many managerial changes ahead of a season. 6 of those managers have shifted within the league, so you expect to see more of those. We have 3 managers now in the league that are non-Italian, which is, look at that diversity there.
Wow.
But that adds a certain color, right? We have some first-timers. We even have with Como, we have Fabregas, who also is relatively untested. There's a lot of managers that I feel like could create a lot of chaos here this go around, especially with some of the records that we've seen. It's going to be an exciting season, to say the least. Eusebio Di Francesco is probably my biggest, in my opinion, like wild card, because he essentially got Empoli relegated. So I don't really understand that hiring. I feel like that was the highest risk to potential reward there. Yeah, it's going to be a ride, y'all.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Serie A is I think in the last, 4 or 5 years, there's only been 1 repeat winner, and there hasn't been any back-to-back winners.
Yes.
Inter, I think, has won it twice, but there's always a new champion.
Yeah,
So
Inter have won it twice, but it was a sandwich with with Milan and then Napoli.
So for me, I was like, who do I think is going to do well this season? But there also hasn't been a lot of moves. This transfer window seems so boring for Serie A.
I don't know that that's true. I feel like if there are any movers and shakers, it's been Juventus.
Juve's gone in.
I would say to the extent that they've destabilized themselves with the number of changes that they're making.
I'm actually thinking about Inter though. Inter seem like they've made no changes.
Inter are very conservative, smart spenders. They work with what they have. They know they have the depth, and they have had the depth for seasons now, and they make only the necessary changes as they come. So Inter will always play it safe. They steering the ship ahead. I'm not worried about Inter.
Juve, the opposite of that
Juve, the complete opposite of way. It does make a lot of sense because Thiago Motta does need different personnel to play in his system. This means that all of the Juventus fans that don't necessarily have an appetite for change and struggle and addressing the fact that it is a rebuilding year.
For Juve?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Why?
Because the way that Motta likes to play is not necessarily what Juventus have been accustomed to. They've largely played highly defensively. Motta wants to play an attacking, high press, possession-based, especially with what he calls sort of this, it's a modified 4-3-3 in my opinion.
Similarly, though, I feel like with Roma, for example, we went from night and day in such, like, I'm talking about weeks, right? From Mourinho, who was almost uninspiring, a more organized, pragmatic football, to De Rossi, which was contagious, energetic, offensive,
but also very green.
From one moment to the next.
Right. There's the risk there, right? You bring in the new blood, and De Rossi is a dream, right? Because you're not going to get a greater Roma talisman than him. And so I feel like he had that connection with the players. Now, coming in and sort of gutting a historic club and trying to reinvigorate it is a massive task, especially for a very young green manager like Motta. Granted, he already did the impossible with bringing Bologna into the Champions League, but it's going to take time to make those changes, and historically Juventus fans haven't been ones to be patient.
They're making, Giuntoli and Motta are making huge calls.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like that can...
Including but not limited to bringing up a couple of academy players to the first team. So you're seeing Jonas Ruhi at left back and then Nicolo Savona at right back that recently got signed to the first team. That's not counting Douglas Luiz, Kefren Thuram, Juan Cabal, Michele Di Gregorio, and then now they're also looking at bringing in Nico Gonzalez from Fiorentina. Yeah. So that's a lot of changes.
Swap for Weston reportedly?
Allegedly, reportedly, potentially.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, Weston has too much talent to just be sitting ready to go. I can't imagine he hasn't been snatched up
That'll
yet.
be a fully inspired Weston McKennie after 2 years of being told you're not wanted.
Yeah.
Proving it at 1 year and then having to reprove it again.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when he was told he wasn't wanted the first time, it was a little bit more of a show than an actual edict.
Right.
Especially given that he was still included in all of the preseason activities. He wasn't excluded. I was there in LA when he was there just to see what was happening, and it didn't seem like he wasn't even excluded from training. So.
You made it sound like you went to LA just to see how Weston McKennie's
Yeah, I was like, I'm scouting him.
This is like institutional. This is like...
Yeah. This is big and sweeping, right? So I feel like of the new managers coming back in this season, the most notable, obviously, is Antonio Conte. He's the most formidable to come back in. The Champions League has evaded him. But outside of that, he's proven to get the job done. Sometimes not a very popular character. He is already criticizing.
He's already angry. It's the beginning of the... How good is this for you as a Serie A fan to see Antonio Conte angry again, and it has something to do with Serie A?
It makes my soul happy. My heart flutters a little bit.
This is culture.
No, this is absolutely like Italian spirit. This is the guy that will get things done, and he always gets the most out of players.
So this is why, for me, I think the Conte at Napoli signing was one of the most intriguing. I mean, Napoli finished 10th last season
after two managerial changes in the middle of the season.
So will Conte be the thing that steadies that ship?
I think, yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think that it also puts De Laurentiis in the position of needing to listen to him. I think that with this appointment, they knew they had to do this right. You can't get this wrong a third time consecutively. He is a storied manager. He's got proven success. He knows what has to get done. But again, another manager that needs the personnel. And he's already been very vocal about, I need players at Napoli they don't want to spend, which, again, is very classic Napoli. So we'll see what happens. He's doing what he can as he can, but you're going to be seeing like Kvara implemented differently, playing in some wide spaces, dipping into the midfield.
The core of that group, important players, Zielinski and Osimhen, are not going to be there.
Oh,
right?
he's lost 12 players from the original squad that won that Scudetto. So this is definitely jagged terrain.
But they do have a new logo, huh? What do you think? Conte can't be mad about that.
No, but I mean, it's definitely going to be a very interesting season.
Who's going to be your big surprise? It's impossible to tell right now, but Bologna, I think, was probably the biggest surprise last season. Is there one that you're looking at going, oh, they've made a lot of good moves, or they look like they're ready to go?
I mean, Bologna could be in a good position because they did bring on Vincenzo Italiano, and he was great to a certain extent for Fiorentina, and I feel like it's not a terribly dissimilar attacking pressing system from Motta's. But I think, I don't know, it's way too early to tell. I feel like we could come out here and have either a shocker or we'll have a really dominant Inter again.
They did the transfers that they made, having lost Calafiori, having lost Zirkzee. They brought in Thijs de Linga, who was at Toulouse, I believe, who was scoring a lot of goals. So it seems promising for Bologna. 2 competitions for the first time in seemingly forever.
Yeah.
But Vincenzo Italiano has managed that. But still, for a group of players that probably not used to this level of...
Yeah, I mean, slightly differences in the system, especially with like how Italiano likes to use the back line versus Motta. But I think they're pretty safe.
Christine, I won't put you on the spot and make you make a prediction because we're going to have to do that in our next segment, which I'm sure will go very, very well. But just, from like a top-level lens, do you think that the Scudetto race this year is going to be tight, or will it be more competitive, maybe maybe Inter Milan won't be running away with it like we saw last season.
I mean, Inter didn't really get the opportunity to run away with it until the latter part of the season. AC Milan were absolutely on their heels. Unfortunately, they fell out of form, and they just couldn't correct. Juve, same thing. I'd say that we're probably going to see the same contenders, but I would expect to see probably even like Lazio with the managerial change come pull up a bit. Look out for AC Milan again. Juve, big fat question mark attached to Juve for me right now.
I do feel like there's just a lot of question marks.
Yeah.
Which is going to be fun.
The logo looks like a question mark if you flip it upside down.
There you go.